another session of intentional photography. Today we're going to talk about putting together digital photography kit for less than $200. You heard me right, less than $200. Now obviously I'm not talking about new gear, but I'm talking about some things that are going to be completely serviceable. I seem to have a visitor with me today. Let me introduce him. He's being a little pushy right now. This is Thomas. Thomas came to us as somewhat of a feral wild thing. We live not too far from where the county dumpsters are. He found his way over to our place, 7 or 8 years ago. And he was pretty much wild, almost feral, and you can tell he's just a terror now. Hopefully I was going to say scratch him enough, but there's never enough. But hopefully I can placate him enough to let him go on his way. So say goodbye, Thomas. He helps keep down the vermin on the property, and by keeping down the vermin, he keeps down the snakes. But anyway, back to the subject at hand, digital photography for less than $200. Now obviously at that price tag, it's going to have some limitations. I mean, even a basic kit now runs, what, $800 to $1,000? I should have done my research before I sat down. So what I'm going to show you is going to have its limitations, but I promise you it's going to be far and away better than any phone camera that you could possibly have, regardless of how much hype there is about them. So let's begin with a few things. Obviously you're going to need a camera body. Now this particular one that I've chosen is one that I retired a while back and just haven't gotten rid of. It's a Pentax K100D Super. This one is introduced in 2006, so it's 14 years old. It is a 6 megapixel camera, but it is the first edition that Pentax introduced that has shake reduction. So all of the images, or all of the lenses, are stabilized. Pentax stabilizes their camera bodies, therefore whatever lens you attach is going to have image stabilization built into it. That's one of the great features. This was the first generation where they introduced that. So this you can pick up from KEH.com. KEH is a camera broker in Georgia. They have not financed me in any way. I just do a lot of business with them. They've always been completely fair. Everything I've gotten according to their ratings, and I've bought everything from their low-end bottom bargains to their top-end excellent plus. Everything has been at least what I would expect, if not exceeded expectations. So I can highly recommend them. But anyway, I priced this camera body on their site a few days ago, and now you can get it for about $75. So in round numbers, we'll call that $75. Well, obviously you're going to need a lens. This particular lens that I have on here now is the basic kit lens, an 18 to 55 zoom. That's everything from a fairly wide angle to basically a normal lens. Since it's a crop sensor body, it's a little bit beyond normal, but still in that range. So that lens you can now pick up for about $25. So far what I have in my hand, we've only got $100. You could work with just this, but I did say for less than $200. So let's see what we can add to that. Next in my bag of tricks is another Pentax lens. Not exactly a kit lens, but I guess the first step up from a kit lens. This is a Pentax 50 to 200 zoom. So this is going to give you normal to moderate telephoto. This lens, a little bit more expensive, but you can still pick this up for around $50. So far we've got $150. And that gives us everything from basic wide angle to moderate telephoto in one package so far. But I'm still not there. That's $150. Well, obviously you're going to need something to carry it around in. This is a gear bag that I picked up from Amazon. It will hold a lens. Try that again. It will hold a camera body and 2 lenses, along with the paraphernalia such as spare batteries and so forth. And as I said, that was about $15. So now if you're going to do long exposures, like in my first couple tutorials where I was showing you about moving water and such, you're going to need a tripod. Now this is just a very basic tripod. It's a Velbon T3500. Price that out. You can pick that up for about $25. Is it great? No, but if you're careful with it, if you watch what you're doing, it's perfectly serviceable as your beginning stages. So right there, if you do your math, I'm at $190 for everything. Now, what are we able to do for that $190 price tag? Well, I had all these nice places in mind. I was going to take the camera out and run it through its paces, but with the current COVID-19 problems, so many people are out of work, students are out of school. I went to 3 different locations yesterday, and everywhere I went was absolutely crowded. And this was the caution that everybody's supposed to stay away from each other. Well, they weren't inside crowded, but they were outside crowded. So the first 2 places I went were complete washouts. There's a third place not too far from where I live. It's called Cold Harbor Battlefield. It's one of the battlefields from the Civil War. They have a nice open field where the battle took place. Back in the woods, there's some earthworks if you're interested in that kind of thing, that part of history here in the States. And at the large field at the edge of it, they have a replica cannon there. And I used those for my subject. So I sat up some distance away and I walked the lenses through their paces. Pretty much every marked focal length on both lenses, I took a picture of the cannon. Now, they're not great. Again, this one is not about the context. It's not about composition, because what was behind it is somebody's house that's directly across the street from the battleground. So the pictures aren't great, but they do demonstrate the focal lengths that are capable with these 2 lenses. So let's see what they look like. Let me say as I show you these stills that they were taken at the widest possible apertures, but these are variable lenses, so that's going to range anywhere from f3.5 to 5.6 depending on focal length. This first one is at 18 millimeters. At that focal length, the Canon are so small in the frame I've added a red arrow to help you identify them. At 23 millimeters seen here, the Canon are only marginally closer. This one is 35 millimeters. On a cropped sensor body like I was using, this appears very much as the human eye views the scene. This is 50 millimeters and the focal length where the 2 lenses meet. At this point, the Canon are clearly visible. Now at 80 millimeters, we're just into the telephoto range and the subject is becoming more prominent in the frame. I overshot 135 millimeters just a bit. This is 138, and you can see that the telephoto lens is definitely coming into its own. 200 millimeters, the maximum magnification of that particular lens. Notice the clarity of the Canon, but also the flower pots on the porch across the road. Well, obviously the varying focal lengths will give you various degrees of magnification, so the Canon are drawn closer and closer. And that's practical if you're doing some landscape and then you want to get into some intimate landscape, or you're far away from a particular subject that you can't get any closer to draw it in and make it fill the frame a bit better. But what else are you able to do with the lenses? So let me take a minute and show you some of the things that you can do with the telephoto, and items like, I'm seeing a bunch of little blue flowers. I have no idea what to call them. They're about half the size of my thumbnail. Let's see how close we can get using the telephoto. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, please click the thumbs up. If you're interested in seeing more of this, please subscribe. If you'd like to comment, please scroll down to the bottom and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, leave them there as well. And if you really like, subscribe. And I appreciate you watching. Thanks very much.